Hey guys. And we got a couple people on here. Hey Anna. I gotta pull this closer. Can't read as far away as I thought I could. Oh, and then every time I move it, my camera moves, so that's good. Okay, that's all right, Anna. Hey, Marissa. It's okay. Yeah, you just clean away. And when you get done, you can come to my house. As I definitely could use it. Happy Sunday, Marissa. I still can't believe it's Sunday when I get here, because I swear it was just Friday every single time. Hey, Sandy. Hey, Mary Beth. Did everybody have a good weekend? Hey, Joanne. Man, is everybody else as hot as it is down here? And I love heat. Don't get me wrong. I love heat. But wow. This is like August and June. It's crazy. You know, I have a real bad feeling that it's going to start getting really dry. There was some storms that kind of went through around me about an hour and a half ago. I don't know if anybody really got any rain. It sounded like it was more just lightning and wind. We could use the rain bad. Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, you're down here with us. Oh yeah, Sandy. I was kind of curious if you was how it was up there. Seriously, Sandy. Okay. So yeah, you guys are on the same wavelength that we are too then. Was hoping somebody was getting spared. Did you have fun, Marissa? It's not hard, is it? I know we keep telling ourselves, oh, this is going to be so hard, and it never is. What am I making today, Joanne? I have been wanting to add on to my shoe line, and I keep getting there, and I cut them out, and then I put them in a bag, and then I go nowhere with it. So I've just decided it's time. It's time I got to just start doing it. $97. I wonder what it is. Oh, my phone's over there. Hang on a second. I wonder what it is here. It says it's raining. It's not raining. It says it's 75, but it's not 75 out there. So I think my my weather thing's a little messed up. No, it's not raining. And I just came down not too long ago, and that storm that came through didn't drop it that much. says 76 on the Weather Channel too. So, okay. It doesn't feel like that out there. Oh, man, that's tough, Sandy. Yeah, that's tough when they burn like that. It's hard. And they want to be out there, and then you can't get suntan lotion on them because they just won't let you. So, hey, Patty. And something else I did this weekend. I am so tired of these wood tops that I've had on my workstation down here and then my desk upstairs. I had taken the same board and just cut it in half and made it really solid and put one on top of the other. So I had a 2x4 desk out of that wood, and it was fine. I just put two IKEA drawer units, one on each side, and then put that on the top. But I got tired of it just kind of catching me all the time because the wood will just kind of eventually get a little bit rough. So I went and bought this peel and stick plank vinyl and put it all over the tops. And I don't know why I waited so long. This is so amazing to have, and it looks super good, and it feels really good. It's nice, and you know how a vinyl floor feels. So it feels really good, and it's just, you know, then I can put my cutting board on top of it, my cutting mat on top of it, just like I always did. But at least this way, you know, I kind of feel like things are going to just work a little nicer. It looks a little nicer. It feels nicer. And I can take pictures on this. So this can be a backdrop if I choose to use this. I also bought some subway tile to make a backdrop to do my pictures on too. So I haven't decided, or maybe I'm going to use both. I don't know. It probably depends upon the color of the product or what looks. I'm probably going to use the white subway tile more than this. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Angela. That's okay. Hey, did you have a good time? It's nice to get out of town once in a while. Taco Tuesday theme. That's cute for his second birthday. That'll be really sweet. So if anybody is wanting to redo their workspace, these are super cheap. I mean, I think I did downstairs and upstairs for like 30 bucks. It was like nothing, and it took me no time. No time. You just cut this with a heavy duty carpet knife. You know, be really, really careful, but you cut it with a heavy duty carpet knife through most of it, pop it. Once you get a good score, you pop it, and I always do it from the back and then pop it to the front and then hold it at an L shape and score it here, pop it down, and then run your blade. Super easy. Oh, nice. You went to Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta is not too far from here. One of my offices is in Atlanta. We have a couple of offices across the U.S., and one of them's in Atlanta, one's in San Antonio, and one's in Denver. Still can't believe it's Sunday night. I was walking down here and I'm like, I say this every Sunday night too. I can't believe it's Sunday night. And I'm carrying everything down going, and again, here we are. It's Sunday night. How did that happen? So what else is everybody working on? Vacations. I know this next weekend is 4th of July is next weekend, so I probably won't do a live that night. Everybody will be doing their thing. So if I do something, I'll post a video or whatever, but I won't do a live next Sunday night. I'll tell you guys again a little later on for those that maybe aren't on yet. But yeah, I keep hitting these holidays on Sunday. I mean, I expected Mother's Day and Easter, but not 4th of July. So yeah, it's a rehab for my tabletop and my studio top. Wow, it was just amazing, especially upstairs, how it just transformed that space. And my space upstairs for my office is just really small. It's all I need. It's fine. But then it's just really, I kept going back and looking at it afterwards. I was like, wow, this is, it's like when you put a new paint color on a wall and you keep going in and looking at it because it's just that different, but you love it. And I'm like, why did I wait so long? But yeah, so I'm hoping I have a few more aha moments like that here over the next couple of months, because I'm trying to redo the whole house, just kind of reorganize it again. You know how you just kind of have to go through and not only clean, but reorganize, because some spaces just aren't working. And that's what I'm doing. And I think I had a couple of aha moments. We'll see. We'll see. I put my printer, I have a built-in storage unit upstairs with my studio. And so I put my, not my printer, but my cutter. It's huge, this built-in storage. So, you see how those storage bins that people buy to put their stuff in, that's kind of what it looks like. And so I moved the shelf down to where it would be at the right height for me to do that. And I thought, let me try this, because the plug-in is literally right as you open the door, the plug-in's right down at the bottom down there. So I was like, this could be an aha moment or a what was I thinking moment. So we'll see. If not, it can go over onto the end of my desk, because I did pull, since I had the two pieces of plywood, the 2x4 plywood together on top of each other, I did pull one out and extended my desk all the way out. So it's actually 2x8 now. And so I thought, well, I'm going to put my sublimation printer there, but if I have to put my cutter there too, I can do that. And then that space will be taken care of, but it'll actually work out really good if that's the way it is, because then my day job is like right here, and then all I do is turn, and my cutter and my sublimation printer will be right there. So if I wanted to do a little bit of printing and stuff while I'm doing stuff on the computer, then at least I can watch it and feel like I'm maybe getting something done. So, and then I'm trying to revamp some of my packaging now too for my kids' stuff. I redid my logo when we started the YouTube channel, and I haven't redone my packaging to match it. So I need to do that too. And I've kind of got some ideas, and I've been researching, trying to find some things. I do need to find another box or two. And it's not that I haven't found them. I'm just being chintzy and don't want to pay the shipping for the boxes, but it's expensive to ship boxes. They're heavy, heavy, heavy. So anyway, so what am I working on tonight? The shoes. And I will kind of show you guys a little bit as I'm going here. I always use the same sole for any of these as for my leather mocks that you guys have seen online. So I plan on using that same sole because I know it works. I know the size is right. I've used these for years. So I know everything's right. And then the size that they give me on the pattern, it's probably okay. I just kind of double check everything, make sure that things are lining up, things are looking the way they should. I've done shoes for long enough. I kind of can pull my pattern and their pattern together, and I think it'll make it work. I know I'm the queen of mashup, but I want to follow their pattern a little bit because I know they've made them and they've tested them, but I've also made mine and tested mine. So I think it's going to be one of those if I'm not 100% sure I know what they're doing is going to turn out right, I'll try it. And then I'm going to look at it size-wise based upon what mine are and maybe have to make a few tweaks or whatever. But I think it'll work out just fine. Angela, the shoes. Yeah. I know you guys have been wanting to see that, and I've been needing to make these. So this could be an off and on work with me here over the next couple of weeks, because I've got a couple of pair that I've been wanting to put together for a couple of years now and just haven't done it. I've got them somewhat cut, but I don't know yet that that's even where I want to go yet. These might be my test, actually, since I've already got them cut out. I don't know if I'll use the fabrics anymore, but they can be my testers, and that'll be cool. Yeah, Joanne, mine's on back order. So I ordered the Epson for, let's see, 2 weeks ago, and they had placed their order the end of May. So he had no idea when, and I'm okay with that because I got it for a really good deal. And they, you know, they're not killing me on the price. Hey, Sarah. So I told him too, I said, you know, it's cool. I can wait. It's all right. Because right now I'm probably just doing my size, printing my size labels and things like that. And that'll be like my test, and just so I can learn it. And then once I feel like I've got a good handle on it, then I've got a couple of ideas that I want to do. And I can test even my ideas. It's not that I can't, but I know my labels, I've got to get those out. I really need to get those made. So I do, my samples I usually do are either 3 to 6 month or 6 to 12 month. And I grabbed the 3 to 6 on this one, just because it was the first one I could find in my bag that I was pulling through. My bag's kind of crazy, and I need to somehow, I've done this like this for probably like 10 years. I kid you not. And I know I dig through this thing, I'll dump it out, find what I need or not find what I need, but it's because I overlooked it. But I know it's all in here. And I'm just like, I need to fix this, but it works. And it's so unorganized. But I know it's all in there. I know everything I need is in there, because when I pull it out, I put it right back in, right when I'm done doing it. I've always been so anal about that, because it is that important that I don't lose these. So when one of them starts getting a little bashed up, I'll make another one and put it in and throw that one away, destroy it and throw it away. So, hey, Shayna. So yeah, it's actually kind of funny that this is what works, because I did actually try something probably about, I don't know, a couple years ago. In fact, I gotta get a new bag because this one's getting a hole in it. I tried being more organized a couple of years ago. I almost lost everything. I couldn't believe it. Was the silliest thing. Wow, this bag's actually, I've used this bag for how long, and I've just now noticed that they made it, it's got a manufacturer error. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But anyway, I just shake my head because it's a bag. Hey, Yamira. Oh, enjoy. Have fun out at the park. I hope your day's nicer there than it is here. It's really hot, and then we had storms roll through. And now they're saying it's 75, but I don't believe it because I was just out there. So anyway, I got another bag because this poor little guy is got a hole in it, and I can't afford to lose anything. I mean, I keep my everything in here. If it has to deal with the mocks, it goes in here. So anyway, I just figured maybe you guys would get a little laugh out of that, or maybe understand, because you probably are doing the same thing on something. So yeah, these ones are an open toe shoe, which is kind of like a sandal. And I'm debating. I'm going to make the first one as an open toe shoe. I may make it a sandal because I've wanted to have a pair of sandals in there, and it would be a really cute sandal because it's just got this knot on the top. Really, really cute. So yeah. Hi, Diane. So the way that I work around figuring out my final product when it's something like this, that is totally mine, not a pattern that, I mean, I bought the pattern, don't get me wrong. I bought their pattern, but I'm going to change it up, I think. But this is the way that I go about doing it. And you guys can do this so easily too, is you just take patterns that you like, but yet you're thinking, I want to change one thing or two things about it. So you make up the first pattern and learn the pattern and look at the pattern. And then the next time you go back and you redo it and start working your way towards the change that you want. Whether if it's a simple one, then you can probably go straight into it. If it's something where you've got a couple of changes, maybe you just do one step at a time. And so the next one, I know I'm talking a lot of samples sometimes, but when you're going to be selling this, you want to make sure it works. And so when I go to doing that, I do it one step at a time. And then that way, if something messes up and it doesn't work, you know what step messed up. Where if you change 2 or 3 things and something's not working, you don't know which one of those steps that you changed is not working. So it's just a slow, methodical process. And there's nothing fast about it. You can't do it fast. Cannot. So yeah, it's the easiest way to do it, guys. And if you're just doing samples, if you screw it up, you screw it up. It's just a sample. So you'll learn from doing that. You burn a little bit of fabric. That's just the way it is. Maybe use some fabric that you bought on clearance, or you're out and about and you see fabric that is so cheap, like $1 a yard cheap, or you're at a garage sale, or you're over at the thrift store. Super duper cheap. It's not something you would use to sell, but it's the right type of fabric that you would use. Buy it, use it for your samples to learn on. So say you're out and you find a cotton and you're like, okay, it's the right weight, but it's not the print I would use, but it's 50 cents a yard and they've got 10 yards of it. So for $5, I have 10 yards to burn to learn things on. Do it. And then you've got the ability to just let yourself go and not feel like you're throwing away good fabric or throwing away fabric that you would have done something else with. So I'm always on the lookout for that. I buy what they call muslin, which is a kind of a cream colored, real, I don't know if I've got any right here. Maybe I do. Yeah, I do. And compliments of Bear Bear. He's been loving on it. So this is muslin. And it's kind of got this kind of frayed edge that happens here. And then it's got a little tiny fleck in it every now and then. So it's this cream color that maybe has like an oatmeal fleck in it. And it has a little bit of a linen look when you cut it because it frays like this. This is really good stuff to try stuff on too. So, hey, Jazz. So look for that stuff when you're out, and then that way you can give yourself just the ability to do whatever, screw it up, start over, screw it up, start over, screw it up, and learn. And you will have the best time. I guarantee you will. You might throw it across the room a few times, but don't worry about it. Hey, Nancy. I'm going to try and be better about remembering this. Every Sunday night, bring down a full thing of water, take one sip at the beginning, and at the end, I'm like, man, I'm thirsty. Yeah, because you didn't drink anything the whole time. So, yeah. There you go, Diane. Yes. Yeah, the clearance racks are the best place. And you guys will find this stuff everywhere. I mean, anywhere you're at, you're going to find it. And I find a lot of it down here, even in our thrift stores. People just go in and clean out a room and they get rid of fabric like crazy. Now, is it stuff I would use? Probably not, but it's perfect for this. Or if you're going to make, you know, a quilt that you want to give to like your dog to lay on, you don't have something nice because it's going to be outside and it's going to get muddy and gross and it's going to go through the wash all the time, you know, stuff like that. So I'm always, and then you can learn on it from there too. You know, you can learn how to quilt for your dog if that's what you're doing, and he can go sit on it and enjoy it. And if he gets it all muddy, who cares? You know, you learned. So oh, yes, Nancy, that editing and screen work like that will just fry your brain totally. But hey, you did it and it's done, and you probably learned a bunch of stuff too. So next time it won't be quite as bad. So yeah, I eventually want to do it on this because the shoes that I'm doing, I don't know if it's going to show very well because I didn't print it very well. That's where I'm starting from. So it's a paid pattern, and I bought it a couple years ago. And so I thought it would be really cute to do it out of this with the gingham. But I thought it'd be really cute as sandals. And I know how I want to do them. So I think I've just got to figure it out. And then I got to go find a baby for a foot to make sure I figured it out the right way. And then we'll be good to go. But then I've got scraps I can try this on. So, oh, thanks, Angela. Yeah, they are super. I think they're going to be super sweet. And I'll probably do some with clothes backs too. I mean, why not? But man, I cannot get that sandal out of my head. It's been there ever since I saw that pattern for the very first time. So time to start doing that. Now I already have, like I said, I have some samples. I don't even know if I still have any fabric left for this. So this is why this is just going to be a trial. But I did this a couple years ago and then just put them away. So I've already got some of these cut out. I just don't remember what size I cut. So now I got to figure that out. Oh, okay, it's right here. Yeah, because the pattern's right here. Okay, so I know what size I've got. And then I also have to put them into my shoe sizing. Everybody that has shoes does their sizing a little differently. And I don't mean as in like the foot sizes differently. They do their sizing differently. This one, I think, does them just one size, like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I do mine 3 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18. So that's why I'm saying I have to put them into my sizing. So I got to make sure that I incorporate the 6 and the 12 together. And yeah, that's basically doing the 12. But I've just got to make sure it fits my templates. And then I know my sizing is always the same across the board. So if you go in and buy this shoe and that shoe and that shoe, they're all going to fit the same way. And so, you know, it's no different than your pants or whatever. You want to make sure your sizing is somewhat consistent. You can do that by just checking measurements when you make them. So always make sure your waistbands are always the same. Always make sure you're using the same, if they have a hip size or whatever, or the waist size or the chest size. Always have a unified size. You know, all the big names do. So if you go to one store, you know how their clothes fit. For the most part, it's their house brands I'm talking about, not brands that they go out and buy. So, you know, if you go over to this name brand, you know how they fit. You wear this size. Or if you go over to this name brand, well, you might wear this size, not that size. So you know what I'm talking about. Girls understand that. So we've got to make sure that our shops are the same way. so that if somebody buys from us on one outfit and they come back and buy another outfit, they're expecting sizing to be the same, just like you would. So that's why I'm saying I've got to put it into my sizing. So when are you posting this, Nancy, so we can all go look at it? No, when, not where. Are you going to put up tonight? Are you going to put up tomorrow? Oh, cool. Okay, thanks. All right, girls, Nancy's got her video she worked so hard on posted, so we'll have to go over and check it out and watch it. Give you a thumbs up, and that's okay. That's all right, Nancy. We understand. My fur kids, I swear, they are two-legged at some days. They are very extra. And today was no different than any other day. It's just, I just don't know which one of them is going to be extra, you know? Of course, the dog's always extra, so I can always count on that one. That's okay, Mary, as long as you send us some of that jam. You know, don't come on here and tempt us with that and then don't share, you know? Of course, you do know we're going to give you a hard time, and you're going to want to have to type your response back, and oh yeah, you got jam on your fingers. So, okay, got to get my brain into this here so I can think about what I'm doing. So yeah, my sublimation printer, I'm kind of excited for a couple of things too. I want to test it on my leather for my soles. I don't know if I can do it or not, but I usually have, I'm just going to show you this. I usually do this and put my name on it. And I'm wondering, this takes time. And it looks good, but it takes time. And I'm thinking if I could do that with sublimation and it looks good, and it may or it may not, because this, with this being a leather suede, it could get a little fuzzy. And I want it to be very crisp. So I'll be trying it when I get it, hoping it works. It's not polyester, it's leather. I know. But don't tell me I can't do it. So, hey, Liz, how are you, girl? Oh, well, you just sneak it out of the house, Mary. You know, tell him to look at the bird over there. Or let one of the girls go outside and you send him out that way, and then the jam goes out the front door. There's ways. Yes, subscribe to Nancy's channel, guys. Go watch it after we get done here and give her a thumbs up and all the love. So, have you received it yet, Liz? That's the question. Is it there yet? And if you posted a video, I'm sorry. I've been a little MIA this last week. So I got to catch up on a bunch of videos. Oh, there you go, Mary. That works. You don't even need to tell the chicken to go be naughty. That's okay, Liz. I was just curious. I've been thinking about it. All right. Okay, so that's where I was going. I was going to cut out a couple of these. So those of you that came in late, I have a new tabletop, and I'm in love. And this is the first time I'm using it because I literally just got done putting the last two pieces on 5 minutes before I went live. So I am super stoked to try this. I am in love with it, and I just keep sitting here rubbing my hands over the top of it. So yeah, I highly recommend peel and stick vinyl flooring for your tabletop. It looks amazing. Now, yeah, don't like go crazy and not take your time on cutting, because I did have a couple of pieces that I had to force to make my cut because my cut was just a little wonky, and I had to kind of force it to make it look right, which you can do. And so I've got a couple of gaps here and there. They're not bad, but I know they're there, and I'm a perfectionist, so it's going to bug me. And then I also had to put a couple of spacers of pieces in because I was trying to use what I had without having to go buy more, and they were about too much too short. And I had a couple of pieces I could cut off and, just piece it together. I'm like, who's going to really care? It's work surface, right? So, oh, okay, Liz. All right. All right. That means I have to move the camera, okay? So, you guys ready for this? As soon as I get the cord out from underneath the... You see that? And it's the whole table, but I've got stuff over there, so there's no point in even showing it to you because I've got my mat on here already and stuff. But yeah, I'm really stoked about this blonde gray look color. I think it's really pretty. Just adds some life into the area here. I'm kind of tired of the plain old wood. So, and I think it cost me, like I was telling the ones that were already on there and the ones that just came in and didn't hear this, I think it cost me like $30. It was crazy cheap. Crazy cheap. Just went to Lowe's. They're like $1 something a piece. So I just went to the edge. Yes, Sandy. And then I'm still trying to figure out, I do probably need to put a trim around because especially this one, when I stand here, it keeps wanting to catch at my shirt. So that drives me crazy. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for this, because the peel and stick, I would have to put some extra glue on, and I think with it being just thin enough too, I think I would break it. So I need to go get a nosing and put on there. And I was looking at the nosings when I was in Lowe's the other day, and they were expensive, like more than I thought they should be expensive. Like they would have cost, one run would have cost what I paid for all the vinyl. So I was like, let me think about this one for a little bit. I'll figure something out that doesn't cost that price. So I'll get there. Hey, Juana. Thanks, Sandy. So yeah, I highly recommend it, guys, if you just want to transform your surface. I was showing it to Ashley last night, and she goes, I have some of that. And she went over and she grabbed a whole stack of it, and she did. She goes, I might do that. So she had a bunch of surfaces that, since she was just moving into her studio and trying to get all that organized, she had a bunch of surfaces that she was looking at. She's like, So yeah. Thanks, Mary Beth. I like it too. You'll notice I can't quit rubbing my hands on it. So, and I kept walking back upstairs and looking at my desk. It was kind of fun. But back to the task. Okay. So now I'm going to move you guys so you can kind of watch what I'm doing. Here, bring it down a little. There just is no, I'm short, but then I do this and I'm just tall enough that you get part of my head and that's it. So I do have a cutting mat that I will be using on this. Do not cut on this, guys, because it will nick very quickly. Now, yeah, you can replace it because it'll just pop up and you can put another one down if you ruin it. That's the other good thing about using this peel and stick. It will come up. Now I had to put some pressure on the edges. So don't be afraid to put some heavy stuff on for just a little while so that it really sticks it down. But if you need to pop it up, you can too, to replace a piece or two. So I know it is. It was a little thing, but it's kind of a big thing, really. You know, it's like remodeling, sort of, kind of. Yeah, and it's great for motorhomes because it goes in fast. It takes a lot of wear and tear, and then if you need to replace it, it's cheap to replace and it's cheap to put in. You know, you decide to redecorate one weekend, you don't have a whole lot of expense in it. It's like, we're going to change our floor this weekend. Everybody's going to be thinking, you're spending what? And it's like, yeah, I spent $20, you know. Hey, Michelle. All right, I need to get my stuff. Cutting mat. This is the one nice thing about when you do littler projects, you can use your little cutting mat. And this is perfect too to travel with if you want to do things like that on the fly. Not that I've ever done that before. No, I'm the queen of, oh, I could work over my lunch hour out in my car. I just got to take the stuff with me. And then I remodel and don't remember where I put things. Oh, yes, I put it here. Right here. Okay, so I hung all of my scissors on the sides using those little temporary hangers that you see all over where you, the pull strip on the back and you can take them down. So I've got those on the sides. Perfect. I also put them up on my sides over there to hold my hoops for my embroidery stuff, all kinds of things, because they're super cheap. And then you get stuff where you know where they're at. So all my hoops for that machine are right there. And then my Janome hoops, I still haven't figured out where my Janome's going to live. She lives right there for now, but there's no place for me to put her hoops right there. And I want her hoops by her. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm still renovating a little here. Things are still not 100% where I want them. We're getting there. Mary, I gotta go look that up. Hey, Pia. There you go. Yeah. But the pink carpet, it has a little pizzazz, right? Hey, Evelyn. So yeah, I don't know, Mary. I don't know. That pink might be that might be like coming back. You never know. Some of this stuff, this retro stuff, the minute you change it, and then you're like, why did I do that? Because now it's a thing, and I just got rid of it. Now, when I lay out these suede pieces, now this is hides. So hides are not square. And they're interesting to try and lay something out on that is square. These aren't, but like I've had to cut like bags and stuff out of things that aren't square. So yeah, it's a challenge. And I'm constantly trying to get every little bit out of these just because these are, you know, not cheap and you want to try and get as many as you can. But there's only so many things you can get out of here. So, okay, so I've got 2 different styles, 3 different styles. And Bear Bear's down here just loving on my leg. He just constantly rub, 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 rub. Oh no, Mary. Oh no. Oh boy, puppy. Don't do that, puppy. Oh, Joanne, you will love it. You will love the IKEA organizing stuff. It is amazing. I've got a whole bunch of it over on the wall over here. I've got some back there on the wall. And a lot of things just kind of work with each other. So you can go from one department to another department, and you're going to find that those things still kind of work with each other. So I just love that. It's like I can go find exactly what I need, or I can find something that I don't know what I need it for, but it's really cool and it's going home with me and I'll figure it out. And I usually do. And then I'm like, wow, I could have bought 3 more of those for that price. So now I have to go back, which thankfully we have. It's not new anymore. It's a couple years old, but they built one that's about 25 minutes from me now. And I was like, oh, that's dangerous. Oh, thanks, Evelyn. Nancy, who are you going live with? Oh, yeah, Mary. That, it's not that hard. It's just, it's a little trial and error. So again, I recommend doing a mock-up and trying that first before you do your final. Hey, Corinne. I wondered if that wasn't Zoa you were going to go live with. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. Thanks, guys. It really does help. So don't forget, guys, too, if anybody was thinking about doing this, Christmas in July is a thing. So if you have some Christmas items and you want to just try and maybe run a sale on those in July, it's coming up. Believe it or not, July's next week. Can you believe that? So I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, I was hoping to have a couple of things done. I don't have enough. So I don't know that I'm going to be doing Christmas in July, but I might surprise myself and just all of a sudden sit down and um, do a thing or two. Okay, this wants to slide. Good to know. Now I've got to get little stoppers to put on the back of that. So I might, but I've got to get some things done first to be able to put them up. I could do a couple of my kids' things because I've got some mocks that have Santa Claus or a reindeer on them. So I could always list those. And obviously I don't keep those up except for seasonal times. So, and then put a couple other things to go with it. It doesn't have to be a lot of things, guys. You could always just list, a handful, make 6 or 7 items. And especially good time if you want to test either a new style or pattern or something you want to add for the holidays or whatever, real good time to test that and see kind of what response you get out of it. Because you even just posting on Instagram gives you guys a lot of feedback. Welcome to my world, Liz. I'm always looking for something. I'm always doing that. Yes, Mary. Yeah, and do your Christmas in July sales. I know Etsy will be promoting Christmas in July. They always have in the past, so I can't imagine they wouldn't this year. Gotta remember not to step on Bear down there. I have a little mat that I stand on because these floors are concrete. Well, he always likes to be right by me. Well, he's laying on the mat right by my feet making biscuits. This boy makes biscuits all day long. Okay, so you remember were you on last week? I think I was talking about the missing shipping bags that I still haven't found. And I had to order new ones real quick on Amazon because I had an order going out last week and don't remember where I put them. Does that sound familiar, Liz? Is that where you're at right now? Hey, buddy. Oh, you don't have to, Nancy. I was just suggesting. It's a good way to kind of boost some sales too. And some people do really good with it, and others are like, yeah, I didn't do one sale. So you never know. It's always just a nice little thing to try. And you could even run a really good sale on it if you wanted to. I'm not used to this thing moving. I'm going to have to definitely get some strips on here. Trying not to cut my finger. It's another reason why I like these little tiny mats. I can just sit and reposition the mat as I need. And the remote, yes. Yes, yes. And your keys? Or is that just me? I'm notorious for laying my keys down 2 seconds ago and then literally cannot find them. And know that I didn't move very far. I think that's a baby thing. What is it about remotes? I mean, you just need to save the 1 or 3 remotes that die and just let your kids play with them, you know? Who needs to buy them toys? And then same thing with the cell phones, you know? Deactivate the service, but keep it charged up and just let them play with it. Yeah, I think that's normal, Nancy. Michelle. Hey, Sam. I know they do, Liz. Isn't that the truth? How do they know that? You know, especially if it's like got batteries in it or it turns on and the screen lights up. You would think they would not know that there's no service attached to it. It's hilarious. I think it's partially too because it's not the one we're always grabbing. They've really got to get something on the bottom of this. Oh, I know what I could use. This will work. This is that shelf liner gripper stuff. Aha! There we go. Okay. So it's got like grip on the bottom and not on the top. So if you do this vinyl flooring, this works. And I had it cut for a couple of my machines I was using. It wasn't sewing machines, it was a different machine, and it kept walking on me. And so I put this underneath it and it quit walking. Well, look, this doesn't really move. So it moves a little bit, but not like it did. That's cool. Oh yeah, it works really good. Yeah, that's true, Michelle. They want that off limit stuff. Hey, Lakeisha. Hey, see, Rosalind. Okay, I couldn't quite read it. I don't have my contacts in. Sorry, guys. I mean, I can see close up. Contacts wouldn't be helping, but yeah, if I get just past my computer, I'm done. I can't see very well. Your surgery runs, Evelyn. Yeah, well, this would work. I mean, this is just that. It's just this stuff, you know, and it's got that on the back, so it's just kind of shiny on one side. You could put your serger on this, but yeah, that works really good for that. And I think I bought a whole roll of it, and it'll last me for the rest of my life. All right, so remember, I have my little project baskets I showed you guys before. So there's the soles, so I don't lose those. Now, I'm doing this one. Oh, it's going to be right there. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I think this is gonna work. Oh yeah. Just one or two little changes to make it into the sandals, and I think I've got it. Cool. Yeah, it is open toe. For those that just came in, I'm trying to add to my shoe line. I've had this pattern for a while, and I actually want to make them into sandals, but I'm probably going to make the closed toe with the back just to start and test the pattern. I think I know how I can do it. So, but I want to sew it the way the pattern says first, so I get a feel for the pattern before I go and try and change anything up, so that I know if I screw it up, I know what I did that screwed it up. Thanks, Anna. But yeah, I want to do it out of the cherries with the red gingham. So the gingham will be the knot. Kind of like a fisherman toe, Michelle. Yeah, kind of. Absolutely. All right. So what is this? Oh, okay. I know what that is. But I printed this pattern out so long ago. I'm like, I got to remember where I'm at and what I was doing. Is this what I was working in? It is. Because I'd actually put a couple of things together. There it is. Okay. All right. That gives me some thoughts. Yeah, Mary, the shoe patterns are kind of the same from small to large. You know, because your foot still kind of has the same shape. Oh, thanks, Sam. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Anna, because I wanted it to be a sandal, and then I could do also a set with the sunsuit, and then they would have matching little sandals to go with it. Hey, Lottie. So you know where I'm going with this, Anna. But I need to test it first. Okay, so where was I? Don't think I cut the knot yet. I think that's kind of where I got stopped when I was doing all of this before. Yeah, I don't have that cut. I have several different shoe patterns that I had going on all at the same time because my brain was going wild. Not that ours ever does that. And I had all kinds of these thoughts. When I looked at the pattern, I saw a couple of things happening, and it wasn't just this one, but on the other patterns that I was doing too. So I was like, aha, yeah, see this, and I think of that. Of course, I know you guys all do that too, so it's not just me. All right, so, okay, that makes sense. All right, pink. Pink, 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 pink. Hope I still have pink. I do. thought I had a lighter pink, lighter weight. I don't see it. Probably used it up. I'm just questioning the heaviness of this fabric I've got. I think it's just a touch heavy. I don't think it'll make the knot very well. I think I'm going to run into issues. There we go. This I like better. So it's hard to tell, but I've done just enough with this stuff that when I put 2 layers of this together, like it's telling me to do, and then I go to tie it, I think it's going to be too stiff. I think it needs to be lighter weight. And I think this linen will actually be better just because it's a little floppier than this. See how this has some stiffness to it? It has some body to it, where this doesn't have as much. And so that means it's going to be probably easier to tie and to deal with. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to go off of that theory for right now. I may totally abandon it and go what you were thinking, but that's where I'm starting, and that's why. And I need to iron it because it is a mess. Bear, bear, honey. I know you're down there, sweet boy. So my iron is right behind there, but I'll pull it around. This is like, you guys would die if you could see everything that is like right here. It looks like I have all this room, but I've like got the cameras there, and we've got my light is there, my iron is there, my serger is there, my container that's holding everything is there, my water is there. Just like, which is gonna fall first? And then I'm trying to get short so that you can see what I'm doing and not cut my face off. So, hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba. And then sweet boy down here. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. I'm purring. Hi. Good boy. Yeah, behind the scenes with me. You know, and I'm sure a lot, or if not most, YouTubers are the same way, where we kind of just shove everything behind and you only see what you see. I really like this thought, guys. So yeah, if you do this, I really recommend this. This stuff is really awesome. It's definitely not making anything move for me. Trying to stay organized here too. There we go. That helps. I think part of crafting, you spend getting things out and putting them away too. You know what I mean? Just so you can have a workspace, so you'll work yourself into just this little teeny 2x2 area. Yeah, for sure, Michelle. Hey, Deborah. So I'm adding to my shoes on my site. I've had a couple of patterns that I've wanted to make over the years, and also change up just a little bit and make sandals out of one of them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm finally getting to the, well, I cut all these out to test. Now let's test the pattern. So I got to finish cutting stuff out so that I can do that. my makeshift iron board. I love this thing. I picked this up for like 10 bucks at a flea market, and it wasn't bowed at the time. It was straight. This is how long I've had it. But these things are not cheap, and I couldn't believe I got it for 10 bucks and nobody had used it. So I love using it for just a little quick ironing mat, and then I don't have to open up my ironing board or turn on my heat press. And Bear Bear loves rubbing up against this, don't you, buddy? Spray bottle of water. The one thing when you're doing this stuff, you definitely want to make sure you get all the wrinkles out before you cut and sew, because you will not be able to get them out as easily later. So I always take my time. And this is just water. I use an old spray bottle from Facial Mist. I love the way the spray comes out. It is such a fine mist. It's perfect for ironing. And since it's my facial stuff, I will always have a new one when this one dies. So I save all of them. And I even use them like for my cleaning solutions and stuff. I mean, the spray is that good on it. One of these, I think that's what she was talking about. I use this thing so much. And then the other side has a cutting mat. Now, it's starting to kind of pull apart. So I don't trust, like, if I'm doing something precision cut. But if I just need something real quick to just cut on, and granted, it's, as you can tell, it's warped. But if I just have to cut real quick on it, it works really good just to have something to throw up here if I can't find my other little one real quick. So I love this. Or if I'm in the car and I need to put something on my lap, this was really great before it warped. I don't know. I think I left it in my hot car, and that's why it warped. So don't do that. Yeah, these cutting mats are not meant to be left in a hot car. They will definitely do some funky twisting, and you will never get it out again. This is how I learned. This one and one really big one that I had bought, and I brought it home in a really hot car, because South Texas, and I needed one really bad, and it was summer, and there was going to be no reprieve, so I had to get it, and it was ruined. I used it for a while. I was able to get it enough to where I was like, okay, I feel like if I go buy another one, I didn't totally just throw my money out on that first one. But then it was also winter, so that helped a whole lot. Hey, tell her hi. Hi, Evelyn. How are you? Are you helping mommy make jam? I want some of that. You need to save some for me, okay? Yeah, I don't know if it will, Deborah. I've thought about doing that. I think I would have to put some heavy stuff on it. And now that I've got my SUV, I think I could do it. So I may have to try that. But yeah, I'd have to get it into one of those 110-degree car day kind of thing and just put a bunch of weights on it. So I may try that and see. And I love this air and water soluble ink pen. So you don't even have to get it wet. Just 24 hours or so later, it all goes away. So even if it gets on my table, it'll go away. Oh, that's so cute, Mary. You can have yourself some helpers here real soon, won't you? Have some daughter and mommy sewing days. Really glad that this ink goes away because I'm making this pattern look really bad. So funny. All of this will be gone tomorrow. You won't even see that I did that. And when you're doing stuff like this, it's real important to make sure that when you're laying stuff out, you keep laying it the same way, because it would be really easy for me to want to lay 3 this way and then flip 1 and go like this. This fabric may not matter, but there is some that is directional and you don't know it, and it can really make a difference. Oh, that's okay, Lottie. I'm putting in some new designs for shoes into my shop that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I've had the patterns and the ideas, and they've been partially cut out. Well, the fabrics that I have now that were cut out back then, I don't have enough of it anymore to be able to offer it online, but I can sure use it as a test to see how the pattern sews up to see what changes I want to make, because I've got some ideas. And so I've got 2 of these cut. So all I have to do is do one, and then I can do my changes to the other one. And we will be able to see what's going on. Really like having these hooks there. So nice. Makes life so easy with my scissors. Oh, I get you. I get you, Liz. Well, that's cool, Mary. I'm glad she enjoys, because then she'll let you watch the live, because she gets to watch the live. That's kind of cool. Some kids don't get into it because it's not, the thing they're into at that moment. So that's awesome. Oh, there's my little. Now, I feel you, Liz. I kind of go through that. Friday, I had the attack of the let's get it all done kind of thing, which is really good. I've been waiting for that because, I've been doing the let's take a nap thing too many times, like you're talking about. And I got a lot of stuff done Friday, but man, was I tired Saturday morning, and I had to be somewhere Saturday morning for a little while, and it was rough getting up. I just wanted to sleep, and I couldn't. So there's always that flip side of the motivation to get it all done. But it was good. I needed that, and I need to do it about 20 million times more, because it was a lot of house stuff that I was working on that I needed to do. So it's just one of those, you just got to keep chipping away at it kind of things. But I'm trying to do them in small doses so I can get maybe a little bit of instant gratification to keep me going on it, because the projects are just big enough that you can't necessarily finish them all right away. So I'm trying to break it down to get that instant gratification thing, because I ended up doing one project and I wasn't getting anywhere. And I know it's going to be one of those all summer projects. And I'm like, okay, I can't just work on this. I'm getting nowhere quickly and it's not helping. So just a couple of other things that I've done have really made a huge difference for me. I feel like my list is slowly getting taken care of. Oh yeah, Mary. It's too late to try and can tonight. That's a lot. You'll be up late if you start doing that. And that's another thing I wanted to do this year too, is I haven't canned tomatoes in years. And I really like having fresh canned tomatoes so that I can make fresh salsa. I have like some soups that I make, all kinds of stuff that I like to have those, and they're ready because they're already not really pre-cooked, but kind of pre-cooked, and they've already got the skins off of them, and that's such a big deal for me. Oh, Deborah, that's the worst. That is absolutely horrible. My girlfriend just texted me too and said that they have, I think, like 2 units in their house. One of them went out just like yesterday, I think. It's like, oh my gosh. But they always go out when the heat is the worst. Just like your furnace will always go out when the cold is the worst. Bear, what are you doing, buddy? He's over there chirping. So I know he's like batting at something. There's nothing he can get into over there. I'm not worried about it. But I can hear him. He's chirping. Yeah, Mary, do that. Mary, do that, because so many people have never seen how that really happens. And it's really not hard. And it's kind of a lost thing. So, yeah, do that. Show them how to do that. Absolutely. Canning tomatoes is so easy, guys. And the coolest thing that I always loved as a kid was taking the skins off. And it's your kids, Mary, will love doing it. Anybody that has kids will love to do this with them. But those of you that don't know how to can tomatoes, when you take your full tomato and you go to can them, you got to get that skin off. And you've got, how many buckets of tomatoes to go through, and you don't peel it with a knife. What you do is you go and you heat up a big pot, and I mean, we're talking like a canning thing. So you see those canners. I got one here. I do. Here. I use this for dyeing, but this is one of those big canners. And it's for a bath, a canning bath. So you take this, you fill it full of water, and you put it on your stove. And you get it super hot. I mean, we took it to boiling and then dropped it down a little bit. Super hot. And then when it's super hot, now this is a timing thing, okay? So let me back up. So you get that super hot. While you're doing that, you fill your kitchen sink full of cold water and put ice in that cold water. So when you get those two together, and you don't want to do the ice thing until you know your water's hot. So because you want that ice to be super cold. So you put all your tomatoes real quick into the hot water, and it's called blanching. And you do that for about, 30 seconds, a minute, until you see the skins are starting to kind of loose a little bit. You don't want to cook the tomato. You're just putting it in there to get the skins to loosen up. So when you pull it from the hot water, then you put them into the ice water immediately. And the minute you hit that ice water with it, the skins start coming off. And then you get in there and you pull the skins off with your hands. And your tomato is not cooked. It's still somewhat raw. I mean, the outside, the edge is going to be cooked just a little bit, but the inside won't be. And then you pull those out and you put them into a bowl or whatever, and then you cut them up or do however you're going to can them. But that is the best. I loved doing that as a kid. That was just the freakiest thing, that I could pull an entire skin off of a tomato in like half a second by doing that. It was so fun. Yeah, I have 2 pressure canners as well. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool too, Michelle. Hey, Juana. Oh, Joanna, sorry. I saw Juana was up there earlier. Misread. Oh, Marissa, don't get going on the food. You're gonna make me hungry. It is hard work. Tomatoes are the easiest. Canning's hard work, but it is so worth it. The flavors are amazing. Yeah, canning is amazing. Okay, so I've got to get my machine here so I can sew these. Need to move you guys so you can see a little bit here. Because I'm going to go over here and sew these real quick. I got to thread my machine. But you can do the same thing with peaches as the tomatoes, because we would do that as well. Oh, cowboy candy is so good, Diane. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they are, Michelle, but they're so worth it. And yeah, if you know how to use them, it's kind of a lost thing that I know people are starting to try and bring back. Because canning, they're realizing that canning was amazing. And how did I end up with a pin on the floor? I haven't used these pins in forever. So I'm going to go and sew these real fast. I will be right back. Okay, so yeah, Michelle, kids don't necessarily understand. They think it all just either comes that way or you just go somewhere and buy it. They don't understand it's got to be made, and that's how it's made. That's funny. There is a big payoff, Mary. Yeah, we used to do it when I was a kid. Mom would can literally the entire month of August between our garden, and then she would buy stuff at the store when it came in, and then my aunts and uncles' farms. So we can vegetables and fruit for a very long time. And then she would make pickles. She never made the jam though. That's the only thing she didn't do. But she made a ton of pickles, some sauces, yeah, and then just like the regular veggies and fruit. There wasn't much we didn't can when it came to fruit and vegetables. Obviously, potatoes were one thing we didn't can. I think that was about it. Obviously, lettuce, you don't do that, but it was amazing. Oh, good to know, Sandy. Hey, Mina. Oh my goodness, Sandy, that's so sad. Are you talking to? Oh, Anna. Okay, sorry. I missed that before. Okay. Oh, that would be tough. Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you guys something. When you're doing curves like this or like this, so I've taken my seam allowance. Now I'm going to go and I need to snip down to, but not through the seam. And that's because it's going to make it lay better when I turn it right side out. If I don't do that, it's not going to lay right. And so I just take, and you snip just like that and see how it goes almost to the seam. You can kind of see that. And so I'm going to do that here. And then I'm also going to do that around this edge on both sides. And then I might do like maybe one or two right here just to make it lay right. So keep chatting while I do my snipping. It is a big skill, Mary, and it's good to have. I'm glad I grew up doing it. It was a lot of work, but I never minded it. I loved it. The only thing I hated is that our house was always so hot. And it was always done during the hottest month anyways. And sometimes she'd even go into September. I mean, she'd be easily canning 4 to 8 weeks. Just depends upon how the year went for growing produce and all that stuff on how long we canned. Oh, good night, Diane. Yeah, have a great fourth. Those of you that came on a little later, since next Sunday is the 4th of July, I won't be doing a live that evening because everybody is going to be with their families, hopefully. So I might post a video instead. So anyway, Just a reminder. Yeah, Mary, definitely. Even though I did mine on a glass top when I was back home, you know, it was fine. But yeah, I would have preferred to have been outside instead of on that glass top. I agree with you. But I didn't have an option. That is genius, Michelle. Totally. And I'm sure, you know, that's probably what they did back in the day for sure. Sorry, I'm not chatting. I've got to concentrate on this since this thread is white. I've really got to make sure I don't snip it. Okay, there we go. My little poker here. Yeah, I've got several of those, Mary. I think they're buried, or I would pull one out because it's just right over there. I used them for dyeing before I got my other things that I use. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. I'm going to have to go look at her channel. That's really sad, Sandy. That's horrible. Okay, so since I clipped, I'm going to iron this first before I show you guys because this is like not wanting to lay nice until I iron it. I won't be able to see anything. Deborah, my Etsy sales, I'm not pushing my business right now. So I'm getting exactly what I'm putting into it, which is very light traffic. And I'm okay with that for right now. My day job was taking an awful lot out of me until a couple weeks ago. And so I had to get back and reorganize everything here. And I'm right now in the process of trying to get some more things listed. I put a sale up last week and I'm running it for, pretty much a month. Just my summer sale. And that's just kind of, I'm starting to slowly hit that reboot. I don't want to do it too quick. So yeah, because my other business, it does it's on its own pretty much because I'm very fortunate that I've already, all the work I put into that other one is still carrying me. So I'm going to get in and start kicking that one too. So I am ready for it to take off here in about the next week or two. So I will definitely be taking the appropriate steps to try and make that happen. But also realize, guys, as September rolls around and if everybody's going back to school as normal and they're in person, your sales may drop off in September. So don't be shocked if they do, if it gets a little slow, because everybody spends their money for back to school and then they really don't have any money again until October. So it seems like for me, I do notice that September, some people don't. So just realize that if that's the case this year. I know this year's been kind of weird anyways. So it may not be true this year. Okay, so by cutting that, snipping those, see how nicely it rounds everything for me? And it looks just like the pattern piece then. So that is a huge thing. Oh, thanks, Deborah. Thank you, thank you. They're kind of my favorite thing, and I'm sure it shows. I loved my dresses as a girl. Even though I was a tomboy, I loved wearing dresses. So I think that's kind of where some of that comes from. I really enjoy making those things. And I would wear dresses a lot for like every holiday. I would always have a dress. And Christmas just wasn't Christmas unless I had a dress on, that kind of thing. So, all right. So there is the ties. Yeah, let's see what the pattern says. Sometimes these patterns will tell you they will mark where things are supposed to be pinned on, and sometimes they don't. And it looks like she doesn't, but she probably, I have a feeling it just goes right here. Okay, let's see what she does. Angela, I use my industrial machine for my leather shoes. I also make like tote bags and just regular like little bags and stuff every now and then. So I'll use it for that. I also use it when I have a real thick quilt. I'll use it to quilt on. Now, it requires, that one's really, really a heavy duty one. It's meant to sew through about four to six layers of leather. So it's meant for, the real tack shops, like for horses and stuff. The person I bought that from had a tack shop in, it was Ohio. I've had that machine for 12 or 13 years now, and they last. I mean, they're rock solid. They're all built kind of, they look the same to some degree, but he has a tack business, and so from my understanding, they have like an actual manufacturing kind of facility that does the leather goods for the horses, like their straps and their saddles and all that stuff, you know, their reins and the leads and the whole bit. And he had those machines made specifically for his shop to sew through all those leather goods. And then he bought extra to sell. And I bought it actually on that time on eBay. That's the only place that there was to buy those. And he was selling his extras. And so it's not necessarily a brand, but when you start getting into those industrial machines, the brand doesn't necessarily matter so long as they're all metal, because they're all kind of made by one or two companies. And Consew makes a lot of them. Reliable makes a lot of them. And then there is a Japanese or Chinese, one of the two companies. I think it's Japanese. I mean, I know Juki makes some of them, but there's also another brand that makes a lot of them. And these are names you guys wouldn't know unless you're in the industrial field like Mary. She would probably know a lot of these names, but they really don't matter. But I think Consew made those for him, and then he put his name on them. And that thing is heavy. I mean, heavy. Just the head alone is probably over 100 pounds. It's a beast. And the table itself is super light. In fact, the head is almost too heavy for the table, because when I go to lift the head, I have to make sure my feet are on the feet actually come down like this. So they're like a T. And I have to put my feet on those to keep the table from tipping when I go to move the head back to check on the oil underneath, to see if the oil is full enough and whatever. So Sailrite, yeah. Sailrite's a specialty, Michelle. They do just the walking foot ones for mainly sailing boats and things like that. Their claim is that theirs are somewhat portable. Now I know they don't have all of theirs are portable. Some of those come in a table, but that's kind of their claim, is that they're small, they're portable. You take them out on your boat, you can fix your boat stuff. They're really awesome. They really are. They're really heavy duty, but they're their own brand. So you're kind of paying a little extra for that. Now I've looked at buying one because they have the walking foot attached, and that's really attractive. Really, really, really attractive. So I'm still haven't written off that I wouldn't necessarily own one, but it's also more heavy duty. Since I've got that one, I don't need that one. I don't need another heavy duty one. I need one like Amber's. In fact, when Amber went to buy hers, we talked about it a lot. And I told her, I said, I want to know how you like it, because it really is unusual to find a straight and a zigzag together on an industrial machine. You usually have to buy one or the other. And she's loving it. And so I was like, yeah, I may have to get one of those. And it has to be able to sew the lighter weights, because I've got the heavy weight. So anyway, yeah, Mary, and that's what mine is. Mine is very, very heavy duty. And I've actually, believe it or not, Mary, I've actually been able to adjust it to where I can do quilting on medium weight quilts. Now that's its limit. I can't go any lower than that. And that's even pushing it a little bit. But I was like, I'm going to make this work, because I've got to plow through this quilt. Somehow this quilt is just too thick for my machine, but almost too lightweight for that. So, but I made it work. Yeah, Angela, and the shipping, now those are heavy, and that's why the shipping is so high. It's worth it, because the industrial machines will last you forever. they don't break. They just don't break. Yeah, you may have to get a repair on it here and there if you do something wrong to it, but I've not taken that in ever, ever. And I threw the timing out on it twice. Mary, you're going to laugh at me, but I threw the timing out on it twice. And that poor guy that sold the machine was on the phone with me because this was before, right when YouTube was starting to come out. So they didn't have really YouTube videos on it. Poor guy. He was trying to explain this to me over the phone. And I knew enough about it, but there was just enough things that you almost need to be shown. Poor guy. I felt so bad, but we got there. And then I threw the timing out again, but I knew to take pictures when I did it the first time and got it right. So when I threw it out again, I was able to get it back in a lot easier. And now there's things all over the internet that if I do it again, I can just go out there and figure it out. But oh, I felt so bad for that poor guy. And to take those in, all the guts are on the bottom of the machines because that sits in the oil pan. And so you just don't pick them up and go here because you will damage your machine because it's all right there. So when you pick them up, you've got to set them into something that's going to protect all of that if you're going to transport it. And it's just not ideal. You almost want to take them in the table, but that takes a truck. So yeah, you could do it. You can lay it on its side. There's ways to do it. It's just, it takes, and it's full of oil too. So then you've got to wrap it up in things that don't get oil all over everywhere. So yeah, but you don't have to take them in. They're amazing. Very, okay. So you don't oil them, Angela. That's the beauty of this. So they sit, and let me walk you guys over there. It's just as easy to show you. They have a tray of oil. Let me show you. And you just have to make sure the tray stays full. So let me walk you over there. I did do a video on them, Angela. So if you go back to my older videos, you will see it. Oh, okay, just a second. I gotta like declutter it. I'm gonna let you guys look outside for a second. I'm gonna declutter this. And I Jimmy rigged my plug here, so I just got all my stuff laying right here. So give me a sec, and then I'll be able to show you guys. Okay. So let's walk over here real fast. So here's the beast. And this started coming off because this was his name. And I was trying to pull it off just because it was delaminating forward and trying to scratch me. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I am so done with this. All right. So you have the little knob back here. This supports the head when you open it up and lay it down. And then it's got this handle here too that you're supposed to hang on to. Well, my handle keeps coming out because it's not meant to do that. So I never use it. I grab it here and I push it back. So, and then it sits on that head right there. So you see how it's got all this oil? There's your pan. In fact, my oil's dirty and I do need to change the oil. And it's white sewing oil, but see how it's got all the mechanism underneath right here. That's what I was talking about. You have to be really careful of that. These strings are what pull the oil up into the machine. So I don't know if you can see that. That's like a wick. It's like a candle wick, and there's two of them. And so you got levels down here as well. And it says high and low. And so you just always check that. I mean, I never have to put oil in this thing. It'll go forever because that's actually kind of dirty and it needs to be cleaned out because that'll suck into my machine. But it's still not that bad. Now I'm going to set you guys down for a second while I put this down because it's so heavy. So when you sew, trying to look at my computer here. it's got this little cap right here, and the oil percolates. And so when you're sewing, you're supposed to watch that. Well, mine lately hasn't been percolating, so I don't know if the wick is doing something or whatever. So I've been checking my oil, and my oil's fine. So this is fine, and it sews fine. It's not, I don't feel like it's sewing any differently. So every now and then I'll look over it. I think I see it do it, but it will. It'll like percolate. And that's kind of cool to watch. But they all tend to have this kind of a shape to them. They're all metal. So it's kind of cool that they all look the same. So it doesn't matter what brand you get. We can walk you through it. Yes, lily white oil, Mary. That is it. Yes. Yep. And I just buy it. It comes in like a plastic container with a lid, and you'll use about half to 2/3 of that, and then the rest you'll just keep on hand. And you don't hardly ever have to oil those, so it's really good. You bet, Angela. Yeah, yeah, and I just ordered online. I do have a industrial place that I found here in southern SA that I didn't know existed until I was searching for something. And I found him, and I'm like, wow, he's been here for how long? And I didn't know it. And I wished I would have known when I bought that he was down there, because he had a whole bunch of used ones. I mean, he's got a huge warehouse, and you walk in and he's just got tons and tons of them. But he also works on them. So it's good to know that if I ever really, really need to take it in, I've got a guy down there, and I can buy any of the feet that I want. In fact, I picked up a handful of feet from him. So it was really nice to be down there and see all that. All right, what did I do with that piece of fabric I just had? There it is. Yeah, you will be amazed at how nice an industrial machine is after you've used a regular household machine. And you'll be like, whoa, this is so cool, because it's the easiest way to describe it is, imagine you're trying to go into a muddy field and you're driving a front wheel drive car. Now you'll get through. It'll take you a little bit, but you'll get through. Now imagine you go back and you grab yourself a 4x4 truck and you plow right through it. That's the difference between a home machine and an industrial machine. It is night and day different. Yeah, and Mary, I believe that. But they'll go and go and go and go and go. And you know, even if you get new ones, they look just like the old ones. They don't change. And that's another reason I'm kind of trying to rework this studio a little bit, is I know exactly where I want to put it if I do get that machine. And it needs to go right over there by my other one. And it's got the room. I just need to rearrange everything anyway, because my space is not being used smartly, I guess is the easiest way to put it. I do need to take better advantage of some things here. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . So when I sew these samples, and I'm going to go ahead and just completely sew it 100%. And I will probably sell this sample online as this is the only one there is. This is the size it is. And then at least that way I got to know the pattern. And I can still sell it and not have like a stock of sample, just kind of things I tried start stacking up over there. That's all I need is just, now what am I going to do with all this? Yeah, Mary would be a good source for you, Angela. Definitely. She's worked with them for a really long time. Yeah, I'm thinking next Sunday I'm probably going to be ending up holding my dog all night because she does not like the fireworks at all. And they go crazy out here with them. I usually end up having to turn my radio up super loud, and she still hears them, but I'm hoping it helps a little bit. Last year, I think I even spent it down here in the studio with her and had all the windows closed as much as I could and turned I've got a little monitor up there that I can put YouTube on. And I think I had that jacked as loud as I could, and I had music going. And for the most part, she was pretty good, but she did get a little worked up over it. And I didn't get to see fireworks. So this year, she's going to have to compromise just a little bit. And she may have to be down here by herself for a little bit here and there and let me go watch some of the show. And I'll come down and be with her and then go back up and watch the show. And hopefully she can calm down. Bear was down here with her too this year. Last year he wasn't here, so that'll make a difference. She won't be alone completely. Oh, absolutely, Mary. It's the truth. You worked hard for that knowledge. All right, let's see what the pattern says now. Right, so I have to sew again, put them together. Kind of stoked that I'm getting this done finally. These just sit. You ever have an idea that just really sits on your mind and it just kind of drives you crazy because you never quite get to it and you never quite get to it? Well, that's what these have been doing to me. So I'm very happy to finally be getting to them. I pin on my shoes like this. These are just fussy enough that I don't want to have to fight with them when I go to sew. But I know a lot of times I don't pin a lot of my other stuff if it's not super fussy. And it's more just to keep it together while I sew it than it is for any other reason. I don't want this linen to shift on making it, because it can do it so easily, or it can walk just a little bit when you go to sew. Okay, so I'm going to go and sew here and here, and I will be right back. These are taking me just long enough because of the linen, and I've not sewed these curves before, so I'm not real familiar with them. So the thing I've got to do then also is I've got curves to clip here and here, again, to make this lay right. So I want to make sure I take my time and do that and not cut through my stitches. So I got one more to sew, but I wanted to show you guys that because it was taking me just a little bit to get through those curves. I'll be right back and do the other one real quick. And I always trim up all my tails. Make sure everything's good. I don't have to worry about finishing seams on these because these are going to be so tiny and on the inside that they're going to be fine. And plus, if I feel nervous about it when I get done, I can go back and top stitch, and that'll take care of that. And that'd be a lot easier than trying to finish. Oh, that's okay. That's all right, Sandy. You are good. So yeah, I take my time to trim everything. Like all the little threads, because if you miss one, and like that one, that's why I'm bringing this up. I had one that when I started here had a little bit of a tail and it got caught through a stitch over here. And so it was kind of pulling. So when I went to turn that, if I hadn't saw that, it would have kind of affected the way that turned, and I had to get in there and figure out what was going on. And that's all it was. So I just had to clip that real quick, and that took care of that problem. So now I've got to snip my curves. And since this curve is kind of tight, I've got to really make sure that I get into every curve, because it has like the center curve here, but then the center curve also has a curve here. Has a curve here. So you got your center curve and then a curve there and a curve there. So it really has 3 curves, because this curve is at a different diameter than this one. And so that's why I've really got to pay attention to that, because I've got to clip into that one as well and pay attention to getting into the middle of that curve. It will affect the way this lays because of the way the pattern is drafted. And then I want to do down here, I want to make sure I get right in the middle. Right in the middle there. And on the other side, and then I will clip probably once or twice in the very middle. I'm trying to see where my stitches are here. And this one, I think I'm actually going to take 2 just from the way it looks. And I got to make sure I also get through both fabrics. So I'm going to do one there and one there. And then I kind of open it. And if I see like there's like here, I think I can probably just take one more and it'll just kind of ease it in nicer. And once you guys have done these once or twice and you've turned them, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then it'll just make total sense to you where to make your snips. Because the first time you go turn something that doesn't have enough snips in it and it doesn't lay quite right, you're going to remember that that cutting probably needs to go in that specific spot where it's not laying so well. And there's times when I've actually gone in and cut really close together just because I couldn't get it to lay right. I would start with just a few cuts and then keep working my way down on that one, because I was like, you know, it shouldn't take this many, but it seemed like it kept taking more and more. And then finally, when I just got a whole bunch of cuts in there, it laid so nice. Okay, so now I've got to turn these. Okay, I've got a tube here, so this is going to be a little tricky. And these are all together, so just got to kind of push this through and be careful with my linen so it doesn't totally fray it. So I'm using a fatter end just because of that linen. I'm not using my skinny end. I'm going to use the fat end, but that makes it a little tricky too because I got to balance on a little bit of a small point there. But just enough to get it to pop through. There we go. So there it is. And then I've got to iron these, but I'm finger pressing just a little bit too to try and pull these all out. And these have, so this is that curve again where I had a smaller curve into a bigger curve. So I've really got to work this out because it's meant to kind of do this. And then I can finger press a lot of this before I go and use the actual iron on it. And if I wanted to top stitch, then I would top stitch like along this edge up here. But I think with this wrap and everything, it's going to be fine. I think I'm going to need to do it. But even just finger pressing, see how flat I can get it. See how flat it kind of gets. Sitting here just doing this. Getting it all to lay out really nice. And then I'll be able to take it over to my iron and give it that final press. And a lot of times, like the linen is just crisp enough, I wouldn't necessarily have to do another pressing, but I will just because that's what I do. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so the lock stitch, Sandy, versus the back stitch. The lock stitch, and it's a good thing I've got this. We're going to pretend this is your needle, okay? The lock stitch does this, and it creates somewhat of like a knot, where the back stitch does this, and then you go forward again. 99% of the time, you're going to use that back stitch. But there is times where you want just the lock stitch. And I would use that when, and I really should have probably did it on this right here when I realized what a pain it was being. So when I went to back stitch, it wanted to drag this width because it's such a small space that I'm doing that in, that if I would have did the lock stitch right there, that would have helped so much. And it doesn't really matter because I'm going to catch that lock stitch that I would do like right there. It's going to get caught in the next seam anyways when I put these together. So it just would have been a temporary hold for me. There's been times when I've accidentally hit the lock stitch instead of the back stitch. It's fine. It really is fine, but I prefer the back stitch just for, if nothing else, a little bit more stability for strength and seam. Because anytime you go over something once or twice, it's a little stronger. So if you go to pull right there, it can be a little bit compromised or weak just because it is the start or stop of a seam. So if you put that on there, then that kind of helps give you that little extra stability more than anything. A little more structure. So I'm trying to think of any other time I would use that. There's just times when you're sewing, Sandy, you'll notice if sometimes it just doesn't want to back stitch very well. Maybe it'll create a little bit of a bird's nest or something. And a lot of times it's your needle and the fabrics that you're using or whatever you're sewing on, and it's just not a good combination, that's when I would use the lock stitch as well. But like I said, I don't use mine very much. It's just very, very rarely, or when I accidentally hit that instead. But this one has it where you have to actually choose it ahead of time, where my Janome does not. It's a button, and if I hit the wrong button, then I'll get the lock stitch. Yeah, and on slippery fabrics, yes, Mary Beth. Yep, yep. It's one of those where you'll know you need to use it when the other one's not working real well for you, and that's really kind of what it's there for. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's go back to it the other way, like I did before. And this is just, if you notice, this is a really pretty chopstick that I found at a thrift store. And I bought it to actually use as a shawl pin for my knitted shawls. So you would braid it through, or you put like your poncho or something on, and then you braid it through. Well, I used one for that. I cut it off just a little bit so it wasn't quite so long, and then I decorated it. So I've got one, but this came in like a set of two, and I was like, this is going to be a really good turner as well. And it has been. I love this thing. In fact, I've used it so much it's kind of bowed just a little bit. But I love using this to turn stuff. It's because it's got just a little bit of a varnish on it too, so it glides through so easily. I highly recommend chopsticks. Okay, so I'm just kind of finger pressing and turning and pushing the seam so that because if you take it to the iron without doing this, you're going to end up burning yourself. So I do a lot of this, and then I take the iron and I will finish iron it. And that's just more just setting it down and making it permanent to stay that way. Even on this one, the linen is so nice that you can finger press it and crease it and it'll stay down. Sometimes your cottons will do that and sometimes they won't. But it gets a little fiddly with an iron sometimes. And I have burned myself too many times. So, oh, and I think I found the cord for that tiny iron, guys. I was cleaning out where all my cords were upstairs from when I moved because I was looking for a specific cord for a monitor, not knowing if I had one because I inherited some monitors. And the cords are coming. It's just I forgot to grab them, and the person that's bringing them to me is still where the cords are at, and they will be coming to town here probably in a couple of weeks. And I wanted to use the monitors, and I found one, and I've got two monitors actually. And I found one cord, and I was searching for another one. But in the process of that, I think I found that little teeny iron that I said I can't find the cord to. I think I found the cord. Now I got to go upstairs and bring it back down because I looked at that cord for the longest time, and it was like, wow, this thing looks familiar. I've used this for something, but I can't place it. And then like the next day, just like middle of the day, I'm like, I bet that's that cord. It just kind of came to me. It was so funny. Hey, Julie. Glad you could come join us. Guys, I'm in love with this top. Is that not bizarre? I cannot believe it took me this long to think about doing that. I wish I'd done this years ago. Okay, so there, by finger doing all of that, then I didn't have to get my fingers in there. I was just more or less making sure everything is wrinkle-free without having to get my fingers in and get them all burnt. So there. Now, we can start putting them together. I'm probably not going to be able to 100% put them together with you guys watching because I will need to be at that machine to do them because there's going to be just enough layers that I don't want to put it through my other machine here because it can ruin your machines if you try and put something too thick through your machine on a regular basis. You know, the first time or two it won't hurt it, but if you keep doing it, you will burn up your machine. You will wreck your machine. So that's why you've got to be real thoughtful about what you're sewing and what you're sewing it on. I'm trying to get my head and this. Hey, Narrow. That's okay. I've been missing a lot of people's lives lately too, Narrow. I got to go back and catch up. It's yeah, it's a crazy summer for everybody. Oh, so cool, Narrow. Sounds like you guys had a good day. A lot of people have been out and about today, so sounds like it was a good day for that. I am trying to make some new shoes for my shop. So that's what I'm working on. Is I'm doing my sample, but I also want to change my sample up too. All right. This is just one of those where you guys are either going to see me or you're going to see my hands. I wonder. Do this. Oh, nope. That's going to make it worse. Okay. I thought maybe I had it figured out, but I don't. I'll just keep bending over. I'll figure this out. I think I just need to get you up a little higher. And I don't have anything right here that I can do that with that would be stable. So. Okay. Put this together first. Now, when I start putting things together for the heel seams and that's where I want to be very careful, and I will pin quite a bit. So I do not want that to shift. I know, I get you, Narrow. And you know, from the knitting world. It's so funny because when we do socks and stuff, we always call it second sock syndrome because it's so fun to do the first one. And then the second one kind of just lingers and it never gets done. It never gets done. It never gets done. Or you either do it out right away or it lingers. And so we always tease everybody that, you know, you're doing the second sock first because the second sock takes longer to get done than the first sock. And it's just more of a mental thing. I've gotten past it, but yeah, we've all had the second sock syndrome happen to us at some point, and I'm just like, this is really dumb. Just do it and get it over with. Okay, I'm gonna go sew these real quick. I will be right back. I use these super thin pins, and they're awesome, super sharp, but they also tend to bend very easily. I hope it shows it. Probably not, but it kind of looks like it's doing that, and it's just, I swear I can bend them just by pinning them into the fabric. But they do really work very well. I love them. I've never used them before now. Okay, I do have a little bit of bulk here. I want to try and take a little bit of that out. So I'm going to cut just at an angle a little bit without compromising the seam. It's a little better. And just put a quick press on that so that everything lays nicely. Now this is where it gets a little tricky on the shoes because you're starting to get into, I've got to press this, but yet everything's already together. What do I do? Well, oh, good night, Mary. Good night. Thanks for joining us. So I just kind of open them up a little bit and lay them flat. And this is just going to kind of do what it does. So back up a little bit so you guys can see that. But I'll just lay them flat, and then this just kind of, I mean, I can even hold this up a little bit. So you just kind of have to work around that. Again, I get in and finger move everything around. sure it's laying really good before I give it that final press, because after you press it, it's kind of hard to go back and move things again. So always make sure everything is where you want it. This is the part I've got to figure out what she's doing there. Because I think she gave me a little extra. That's what it looks like. For pinning these. This is where I have to play with the pattern a little bit, because sometimes it's a little hard to tell if you're doing it right the very first time. So pinning is good. You can always pin a whole lot and pretend like you stitched it if you put a whole bunch of pins in, and then turn it and see if by doing that, if it's doing at least a little bit of what you want it to do. You're not going to be able to 100% see it, but it kind of does help guide you a little bit if you're really uncertain. So I would, instead of pinning it though like this, I would pin it like where my stitches were, and I would take the pin and just kind of run it through a few times and pretend those were my stitches. And then that way you can turn it and look and see. And so it's like a temporary stitch in a way without having to go in and rip it out. So, and then she showed me what the underneath looked like too. So it looks like I've got one a little different than the other. So that was a helpful picture, because she showed me this way and then she flipped it over and took a picture of it from this direction as well. So I could see what she's talking about. So I can do my best to mimic it. And I think I've got it pretty well here. But I do see something that she's showing in the picture that I think is going to be an issue. I don't move it back, just here. And it's more just making sure that when I go to sew it together, I don't run out of a place for everything to connect up to. Okay, I'm going to try this one. In fact, I'm going to be sewing on the bottom. Let's do this. All right, let's go give this a try. I'm going to go and sew this on over here, and I'll be right back. it here. That's what I thought she wanted me to do. So now we trim. So trim everything up to match that curve. And I did better at matching this side, taking on as much. Okay, so fold the knot in and pin it up. What is she doing here? Did she knot it already? I'm going to go ahead and knot it because I want to make sure I did it right. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. Kind of looks like some rabbit ears sticking out here. So now I'm going to knot it. And this is where I was talking about that other pink fabric. Seemed like maybe it was going to be just a little too much for this knot and not be soft enough. I gotta be careful too knotting this. And this is probably one of those where actually it would make sense to complete the knot after I put the sole on. But I'm gonna go ahead and do just a little bit anyway. Really curious how this is gonna look. I'm probably going to end up playing with that knot. There is ways to tie knots, and I can never remember. I always have to go look them up so that they lay perfectly. And it's a matter of don't tie it like this way, but tie it this way. And every single time I do it, I have to watch the video because I can never remember. And then the minute I watch the video, I'm like, well, duh, that was easy. And it's just a YouTube video that I've watched. And I'm not doing it right, but it's good enough to at least test it. I'm going to have to go watch that video again. But we've got, okay, so there's the top of the shoe. And then I just need to put the bottom on. Hey, Alicia. In fact, a lot of it has to deal with that bottom first tie. So let me do it again. In fact, I'm going to re-iron this. So it will do it nicely. And this is where sometimes I'll make an adjustment to a pattern if I'm having a trouble like this, if the knot, if I feel like it needs to be just a tiny bit longer, that's where I'll make that adjustment. I'm not going to tie it super tight yet because I think may need to have a little bit of it when I go to do the bottom, but that's a little better. I really got to go watch that video. But that's a lot better. So yeah, kind of looks like the rabbit ears it's supposed to look like. Oh, thanks, Alicia. Yeah, and this is just kind of a first time I've done the pattern, and so I don't have a whole lot of this bottom fabric anymore. So it's probably going to get sold as a, this is the only size, guys. Can't do any other sizes in it kind of thing. Yeah, these are baby shoes, Alicia. So I have the leather ones on my website, and I've got some other ideas I wanted to add, and some of these were fabric ones. And then I also may be able to turn some of these into more of a leather shoe as well. So I've got to mess with it this way first. But the bottoms will definitely be leather. No, I don't think I did cut my extra piece for the bottom. No, I did not. Yeah, these can be a little tricky when I go to put them together. I've got a lot of bulk with this. But it'll work. It'll work. You don't have to go all the way around, which is going to be helpful. How does she curious versus how I would do it? Does she hide her seam or no? And then this is so funny. So my PDF reader didn't want to read this page, and this is what I've got for instructions. Isn't that funny? And that was the only page it did it on too. It was so funny. I have to really read through this because I think interesting. I'll be doing mine a little bit differently. Yeah, I'll be doing mine just a little bit different than the way she does it. Just because I've got this leather piece and hers doesn't have a leather piece. Yeah, it kind of does look like a headband, doesn't it? So yeah, I was just tying it to see what it looked like. I really need to make the shoe and then tie it, because this is going to affect the laying out for when I sew it together. So, but yeah, I'll see. I may still go in and adjust that. I do this all the time. I'll be like, oh, if that was just a quarter of an inch longer, it'd make it so much easier. And then I go do it, and then it's like, okay, that's better. So don't be afraid to do that, those little tweaks if you need to. It'll make your life so much better. Oh man, the weather is so hot now. So hot. Yeah, it's very odd that it's this hot this early here. So yeah, today they're actually saying we had a storm come through right before I got on here. And they were saying that the temperature dropped. And I was telling you guys earlier, it didn't feel like it. So I'm curious to see if it did when I go out. We didn't get any rain, but there was definitely some rumbling going on out there. And somebody got something. I don't know if they got a lot, but they might have got just a little bit. All right, so I need, oh my God, this is where my mashup starts because I'm using this, and I think I want to make life easy because the way she's doing it is awesome. But if I'm going to do several of them for an order, I don't want to do it that way because that takes extra time that I don't want to give. So I'm probably going to end up doing them the way I've done. Yeah, we've had a heat wave for weeks here. I wonder if I've got that. Oh, here's that one. So I've got these little guys that I did, and I need to bring these guys back. But I made little, and it's too bad I don't think Shayna's still on here. But these are little camo ones that I did with a frog on them. And so this is the same kind of deal here. And so I'm thinking I need to do them the way I did these, and I think it'll be fine. So, and I know what I did with these. So I think I need to do it that way. It made it so much easier. I need to bring these back. Yeah, that'll work. It'll definitely work. This linen is really nice, except it frays so easily. Oh, thanks, Pia. Yeah, as I say, that's why I need to bring him back. I love my little frog guy. I love him. He is just so much fun. He doesn't want to focus too well. But I made him out of leather too, but I love these out of the little camo fabric. So I just end up shaving these just a little bit, getting all these ends off before I finish up the way I'm going to do these. And you guys will do this too. You'll end up getting some patterns. And you can change up the way things are done. You don't have to do it exactly the way they say. If you find a way that's easier for you. Like I'm giving them a haircut. But I should have put this way. So what have you been up to, Alicia? I haven't had a chance to really talk with you lately. You've been crazy busy like the rest of us. Pia, we need to talk about your market. I thought about that again the other day. You got me going crazy. I want to know which one you're talking about. I'm due for another one of these. Yes, yes. When is that again? I don't know if you told me. Or I might be thinking to a different market. So you're not talking like, you're talking actual the market, right? Because if that's the one you're talking about, that's amazing. I've been there. It is really cool. Oh, okay. No, it's different then. Because I could go both ways. I was like, you could be talking about a market, or are you talking about the market? And I was like, oh, which one is it? I'm about due for a new bottle of this. Everything's starting to plug up. Did Alicia leave already? Okay, and remind you that I'm doing a test here too. May not be the way I do it in the end. Oh, okay. I think it's probably the fan on my computer. It's right by my screen. Does that help? Yeah, because my camera is right there by the screen. I pulled it forward to be able to read the chat and didn't even think about the fact that it was probably picking up the sound of that running. Could be the camera focusing. It could be that too. Yeah. I bet it was probably because I can hear the fan on my computer, and I just moved my computer away, and it was right by the camera, which is, I think, where my microphone is sitting. So. Is that better, Nero? Can you tell the difference? All right, so yeah, my next steps you guys aren't going to get to see because that's going to involve me going to my other computer, my other sewing machine. One thing about linen is you do tend to wear it. I end up looking like I've been through everything when I get done sewing. You guys do use this glue and you get it on your mat, try and get it off as fast as you can because it does not wash off. As long as you wipe it flat, it'll be fine. But if you don't, you're going to end up wanting to pick it off. And it doesn't pick off very easily. It's good stuff, except for when you don't want it to be. I can't read that far. Sorry, I'm afraid to move my computer now. I really think it's probably the fan on my computer. I really think it is. Because, yeah, it's running pretty good. That fan sounds like it's pretty loud, so I think that's what you're hearing. So this glue works really well to keep your fabric from fraying, but it takes such a little amount. That's what I was doing, is I was putting it on the tip of my finger and then just running it around the edge of the fabric. Sounds outside. Let me come over here and read this. I'm afraid to move my computer because now that you said that. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Do that, Nero. Let me know. I really think that's probably what it is. I think my computer was just too close, and that's what you guys were hearing. All right, well, I've gotten to a point where I can't really go any further because I got to wait for this to dry. And obviously it's on both, so I can't do anything now that I've done that. And then the next step is just putting them onto the bottom. So that involves going over to that machine. So I can't show you guys how to do that tonight, but maybe I will, if I remember, I will do a little clip of it. I will try and tape a little clip of it for you and show you how I finished them up. And you guys can then see the final product when I'm done and see what I came up with, how the finished product ended up. So, and I got to go take care of whatever's going on out there. So I'm going to have to let you guys go. Thank you for joining me. Again, next Sunday, we will not be here because it's 4th of July. I will try and put up a video for you guys next week. So it'll be 2 weeks for Sunday, and then I still have the, I think my 2 weeks for the quilt along is coming up this week. So I'll probably be doing the quilt along later on this week. So be watching for that. And if nothing else, you can just come over and chat and hang out with us while we do it, even if you're not quilting. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and thank you for joining me. I always enjoy spending time with you guys on Sunday nights in my quilt along times. And thanks so much for coming over and supporting me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.